Well, in studio here at FM 100.3 KFAN, giving the person across from me.
Wintersville sounds better in FM.
Welcome back, Paul Charchian. How have you been?
I've been great. Really, really excited in this moment in particular, Paul.
Mm-hmm. What excites you about this moment to be in studio at KFAN?
Well,
just to see us again.
Yeah, just to see you guys. Yeah. I miss you. And I do. Yeah, the new coffee machine, very exciting. Mm-hmm. Very exciting. But also,
give it to us.
The return.
Give it to us.
Of fantasy football to KFAN on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock.
And give us some details on what is called Fantasy Football World.
We needed to change the name, but we are still FFW.
Okay.
Fantasy Football World. It's all four co-hosts returning. Me, Matt Harrison, Scott Fish, Brian Johnson. And like years past, the podcast will drop on Fridays. Then the show will also air here Saturdays at 10, unless there's a early gopher game. Yeah. And we'll be at the State Fair on Saturdays. So we'll get to do the live drafts and all the State Fair shenanigans that we always do, which is a blast. We'll be back for that as well. But Fantasy Football World is back. You can find it now. We have one episode in the can. Mm-hmm. It's a shorty that you can listen to right now. If you go to my X account, you can get a link directly to it, or you can go to wherever you get podcasts and just type in Fantasy Football World. Look for us there.
At Paul Charchian for the X feed.
At Paul Charchian. Mm-hmm. And we're back. So it was difficult to leave it behind, but at the end of the day, me, Matt, Scott, and Brian, we're just friends, and we just wanted to keep bantering about fantasy football, and we just love it. So we're back, and we're excited.
Now, with Scott Fish in particular, and I know you followed the Friday Football Feast last year, your first year away from it. Alec Lewis and Nordo, they filled in, and we started a new 3-man show. But during the course of the run, Scott Fish, one of your co-hosts, approached me with something called Fantasy Cares.
Yes.
And a philanthropic endeavor that tied into the weekly picks we were doing.
Yeah.
And whether it's Feed My Starving Children or Second Harvest Heartland, can't remember what. Alec Lewis's charitable fund was the Kyrie Jackson Foundation.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right. So,
yeah,
like the whatever amount of points we would get, $50, $100 or something per point, came from Fantasy Cares.
Yeah, $50 a point.
Yeah,
that was sweet.
And then at the end of the year, I can't remember how this happened. It's football obviously overlaps with the NBA. Well, we had Chris Finch on the show, and we had told him about Fantasy Cares. And he's like, all right, well, whatever the points total is for all three of you, I'll match.
Wow, that's super cool.
Like $12,000.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So
way to go, Chris Finch.
That doesn't happen unless Scott, comes up and with Fantasy Cares and the Fantasy Football Outlook on Life. He would come on the radio every so often.
Yeah.
But there was no agenda. He did it because he wanted to help. Likewise for Chris. So when you mention those co-hosts, man, that's the first thing that comes to mind with Scott.
Scott has built an amazing charity system that has become it's absolutely enormous. The Scott Fish Bowl, it's now in year 16.
It is Fantasy Cares, right?
Yeah, Fantasy Cares is the 401c that he founded for this, and they do all these live drafts in all these different cities, and they've got online drafts and all these ways that people can participate with fantasy experts, make new friends, and Scott's just done, and his crew. He's got a lot of help as well, but Scott's done an amazing job building this, and it's become the de facto charitable event in the industry.
Okay.
Really amazing.
So with Fantasy Football World, so just think Fantasy Football Weekly, the radio show, but rebranded as Fantasy Football World. Like you said, available wherever you get your podcast, and also on YouTube. So it's being filmed. I mean, is this something new?
Yeah, that part will be new. Right now, we did not film the first one. So this one will not be, but we do have a YouTube channel, and you'll be able to get it there for the first time. I know many people, Paul, because I'm not going to the feast anymore, they think to themselves, what does Charch look like? How can I see Charch's face? I really miss seeing Charch's beard and his amazing hair.
That was the most common question we received in last season.
Nordo and I were texting about it this morning, sending back images.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've decided that it really does make a lot of sense to have a YouTube channel for Fantasy Football World as well, just so people can, check in on me, the status of any facial moles that I may have grown since last time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I got a couple of skin tags in the mix. That's okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so with Fantasy Football World, before we pause and get into the wherewithal of fantasy football players and philosophies and teams and theories and things like that, is there anything new? Like Fantasy Football Weekly, we're talking multiple decades here.
Yeah.
People kind of know what to expect with the tough questions and the way things are laid out in analytical fashion. Is there anything new that listeners can expect?
Almost entirely the same tired bits that you've grown up on.
Right.
Now recycled.
It belongs
in a
on
new
KFAN.
Name. That's right.
I always love
Perfect.
that one.
Right? Exactly. So it really felt like, why freshen it up? Because that's effort, that's work. When we can just run our continuing bits into the ground. And yes, the Peacock is back.
So there's one in the can. When do you happen to know when it starts on KFAN?
It starts this Saturday, 10 o'clock.
Wow.
Yes, Fantasy Football World, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Saturday.
Covenant claps, man. Covenant claps, because we knew from afar this that caused you a little anxiety and angst last year. So
it did.
Able to get that off your proverbial plate is really, really cool. For those of you just joining, the familiar voice of Paul Charchian, and this Saturday at 10 a.m., Fantasy Football World. It'll be Paul Charchian, Matt Harrison, Scott Fish, Brian Johnson. They're also going to be at the State Fair both Saturdays that we have radio shows, and wherever you get your podcasts, including the free iHeart Audio app, and eventually via YouTube, Fantasy Football World. Paul Charchian will be the host. That's cool. We will get into some fantasy football per se when 9 to noon continues, but first.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot at some bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. This hour's keyword is credit. Enter the keyword credit at KFAN.com for your chance to win.
You're listening live to Paul Allen at 9 to noon on iHeartRadio and FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
From the 1-800...
Charchi, the host of Fantasy Football World, each and every Saturday, FM 100.3 KFAN at 10 o'clock. Let's begin with some fantasy minutia.
Yeah.
And let's begin here with quarterbacks and where they're going in drafts this year.
I've never seen quarterbacks go this late in drafts, Paul, ever. Nobody wants to take a quarterback this year, and it is shocking, the change. We're not seeing the first quarterback go off the board. By the way, it's Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. He's not going off the board till the third round.
Right.
If you're in a 10-team league, that 10th quarterback is Dak Prescott on average, 8th round.
And the majority of fantasy football leagues should, but still do, have 6 points for rushing and receiving touchdowns, 4 points for passing touchdowns.
Yes.
Because there still are leagues that have 6 points for passing touchdowns.
It's just overpowering that position.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
I mean, Josh Allen's top 5 pick, if that's the case, right?
Yes. And the other place where quarterbacks change a lot is if you're in Superflex, which I definitely recommend. That is where you can flex a second quarterback. So your flex doesn't have to be tight end,
wide receiver,
running back. You can also use a quarterback. And that makes quarterbacks way more valuable. It really evens things out a lot. Otherwise, quarterbacks just don't have that much value. And it's because there's a lot of good quarterbacks. Quarterback 18 going off the board is Baker Mayfield. and I'm ready to go to war with Baker Mayfield.
Right.
I can still get 4,500 passing yards and 30 touchdowns out of Baker Mayfield.
But what about the rushing touchdowns of a Josh Allen, though, to even out some of that?
Yes, and those guys are special, and the quarterbacks that do go early have rushing upside, touchdown scoring upside, and that's why Josh Allen does go in the third round. But Superflex really does help bring guys like Baker Mayfield into meaningful play and discussion, and now you got to treat that quarterback position differently. So I always recommend people play that way.
Okay, so with quarterbacks and, Kyler Murray here being the rather prohibitive favorite to be the starting quarterback against Green Bay. Pending announcement that could come anytime, within up to the Giants game or whatever. We got joint practices with the Ravens in a week and a half, or really 2 weeks from today will be the second one. With if you take the leap that Kyler Murray will be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
And you mentioned quarterbacks and legs and rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
Well, is Kyler Murray getting drafted in a fair amount of leagues, or is he getting left out?
He is getting drafted, and where he's getting drafted, quarterback 16. Traditionally, Kyler Murray in Arizona was roughly quarterback 10, 12, 14. Right.
So teams aren't making him QB1 for their fantasy teams.
They're not, but he's fringy. Right. So there are people that are drafting Kyler. And by the way, at that average draft position, he's going roughly round 11 as their second quarterback. Wait and see how it works out. Where Kyler helps you, the scrambling, I don't think he's going to get designed runs in this offense. But the scrambling, just like with the Cardinals to a great degree, you find yourself suddenly sitting on 25, 35 yards.
You don't think there will be quarterback read runs for Kyler?
I think there's few. I think there's going to be like 2 a game. What do you think? Design runs for Kyler, if I said 2 a game, would you take the over or the under?
I think that's a perfect number. And here's why. Because through minicamp and this part of training camp so far, we haven't seen any.
Yeah. Which
indicates that there's some form of it's coming. You see what I'm saying?
I do see
and Kyler Murray, I hit on this hard last week. He, Mike Max, old school, best school, asked a fantastic question to Kyler Murray in a press conference where most people will hit Kyler with, what can you bring the offense? What can you do with this? What can you do with Jefferson?
Yeah.
Maxie flipped it, and he's like, with what you've done and what your skill set is, what do you need from others to be at your very best? And Kyler just kind of smiled and was like, well, we're not there yet in training camp, but the coach and the head coach are very aware of what I can do with my skill set. And then he moved on to something else, which indicates that the standard operating procedure of quarterback in pocket, turn your back, play action, do this, do that, get down the field, throw people open, don't be afraid of a 50-50 to 18, things like that. We're seeing a lot of that. What we're not seeing are any form of Kyler Murray run. Zero. Now, yesterday, which was a very vivacious padded practice with a day off today, for really the first or second time, at least for the practices I've watched, pocket got hot. They ain't going to hit him, but they got pads on, and he made somebody miss and then kind of looped around another guy, and he put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very first training camp practice, no pads. Tyron Ingram Dawkins, second year, well, he got through, and he had dead aim at Kyler.
Yeah.
Kyler shook on him and broke his ankles. And then Ingram Dawkins got mad, and somebody else started taking aim at Kyler. Well, they're all going half speed. These defensive players went full speed, even though they're not going to hit him. Kyler went from half speed to 3/4 speed. They couldn't get close.
Yeah.
So even at half or 3/4 speed, he's so naturally gifted at this. When he told Maxie, that's coming, we're not there yet, and they know what I can do. It just indicated to me that once, twice a game, there's going to be something that we're talking about now.
Yes. And there's a big distinction between designed runs and the scrambling. The scrambling's always going to be there. Plays are going to break down. He's going to extend plays.
Correct.
He's going to throw sometimes on those extensions, and other times he's going to tuck the ball and he's going to run upfield, make a guy miss, and now we've got a 25-yard gain. He's going to have that. Kyler will never be a goal line factor as a runner.
Right.
And that will be Jordan Mason. But what will be fascinating is, what does KOC for these designed runs? KOC's never had a quarterback with this kind of mobility, other than Josh Dobbs for 3 games.
Right.
What's he going to do? Are we going to, to what degree is KOC willing to deploy a quarterback as a runner that we've never seen before? And that's going to be one of the fascinating storylines for the early part of the season.
So since we're on the Vikings, let's keep going down this road a little bit. What's the trickle down of the quarterback competition as it pertains to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and some of the other members of the Vikings offense that rely on that quarterback, whoever it is?
There's optimism in the fantasy universe for Justin Jefferson. He's going in the middle of the 2nd round right now. That is obviously far better than where he would have finished last year. Finished as roughly the 25th highest scoring quarterback. So there's a lot of optimism that Kyler Murray and Kevin O'Connell are going to get him back to close to where he was with Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins. So there's optimism out there. I think that's a fair price to pay. If it's the middle of the 2nd round, would either of you take Justin Jefferson onto your fantasy team?
Yeah, 10 of 10 at that spot. They need to see.
It feels like a have to.
So the big off-season talker here, and I know you follow it from afar.
I do.
Is assistant head coach Frank Smith, formerly offensive coordinator with the Dolphins, but he was like the offensive coordinator there for McDaniel, the way O'Connell was for McVay.
Right.
But the just think Kubiak wide zone running scheme, but put a use check like in rookie Max Bredesen in it. And Juwan Jennings is going to go down in history as one of the best run blocking wide receivers, along with Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald Jr., Hines Ward, Juwan Jennings, Alan Lazard, names like that. They're just really, really good in the run force. Well, we're not seeing a lot of that either in training camp.
Not yet.
Which means
it'll be there.
Well, it means it's important. Because they're not going to show their A+ stuff now. So yes for Jefferson, but they got to run it, and the quarterback needs to break some backs on 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9 with running first downs, because Justin gets doubled and tripled so frequently. If you can run it a certain way, and if you can get the quarterback to get first downs with his legs, you can't triple Justin. You can't double him every single play.
Right.
You have to have a safety or somebody with an eye on Murray because of the legs. So all that's very important.
Well, if he's available mid-2nd round, I think you have to. I will say this, though, about Kyler Murray learning his way into the playbook. What Sam Darnold did really effectively, what Kirk did really effectively, is no matter what, and Jefferson's been doubled the most of his career, they found ways to get him, and that played out statistically.
Yeah.
Is there any element to this where it's new playbook and maybe it's about finding the open guys, specifically like early in the season? So that might be Hawkinson or Oliver. That might be Juwan Jennings streaking across the field. It might be Addison. So until Murray is totally comfortable with the scheme, what if it is, I need to be positive. I need to find success one way or the other, not getting your best player the ball all the time. That could maybe bring those stats down a bit. That would be kind of I think the 2nd round for me with Jefferson, despite how electric he is very optimistic.
It's fair. Yeah, it's fair. I would give a long look at Jordan Addison, because he's going to get less coverage like he did last year, and he came through for the most part. And I also would give a long look inside the 10 of Juwan Jennings, because think about it. They never, think Kyle Rudolph, loop it up to Rudy, let Big Boy box out somebody in a rebound.
Yes.
And get up and get it. I mean, they never do that with Hawkinson, rarely do it with Oliver. Juwan Jennings is so strong, and he had a bunch of touchdowns for the 49ers.
Yep.
And I just think he's going to have some inside the 15.
Yes.
Loop it up to him. He can jump, and he's strong, and he knows how to play. If I were to say Juwan Jennings is going to lead the Minnesota Vikings in receiving touchdowns, I'd probably get plus 480 on it. I'd take that plus 480.
I think Juwan Jennings is going to be on the field first and goal from the 3.
Yeah.
Because even if the plan is to run, whether the plan is to run with Jordan Mason from the 3 or not, Jennings on the field means defenses have to both respect him as a run blocker for Jordan Mason or as a receiving body. Big-bodied guy. He can go up and beat defenders. His versatility is so good for that situation, right up by the stripe. That's where I think Juwan Jennings is going to be fascinating. With Jordan Mason, at this time last year, I was talking about a 10-touchdown season. That did not materialize.
No, it did not.
And I was wrong. My thinking at the time was Mason and Jones would be very close to each other in usage, and Mason was going to get all these goal line carries that Kevin O'Connell had talked about at this time last year. Mm-hmm. Never materialized, and KOC rarely ran inside the 5 again, even when Jordan Mason was available. So my question to you guys is, was I just a year too early? Is the 10-touchdown season for Jordan Mason actually going to materialize now?
That's a fair question.
Projected 10-plus TDs?
It's a fair question because, it's I don't want to regurgitate stuff, but when Mason's in the game, with the way this running game has looked and how I think it's going to look, there's some horizontal to it to get vertical, as opposed to power running, deep passing. And here's what I mean, is when Mason's in the game, he has worked so hard at his cuts outside the hash marks. So in other words, when Jordan's in the game, like Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator for the Packers, he's going to see Mason in the game. He's going to look at all the tells and talkers and tendencies and trends, and he's going to be like, "You're not going wide with that guy.
Right, you're an A-gap guy,
you're not throwing to him until you do." So for him to be in, he has to break one of those tells where he can either get wide and get into the end zone, or he can catch. And because he doesn't have a receiving touchdown in his career, while still being the A or B gap guy. I don't know if he's sitting on as many as you think he is. Aaron Jones in the mix also gets tries inside the 10. Damon Claiborne, the rookie from Wake Forest. I'm not putting him on a bunch of touchdowns inside the 10, but he's going to play more than people think. Mm-hmm. But they had CJ Ham, and CJ did wonderful work as the fullback. Well, Max Bredesen, the rookie, he's just younger. He's just faster. And, so that's going to be a factor too. Could benefit Mason.
Hey, Charch. So Jefferson's going mid-second. Okay. So no Vikings maybe in play in the top 5. Like, who's going first? I got the first pick. Take me to Charch. Make sure I don't screw this thing up. Who's going number 1 overall?
Jahmyr Gibbs. And in some cases, Bijan Robinson. I'm sorry?
He's a hold-in.
Yeah, he's a hold-in right now.
Wow.
But that stuff always gets worked out. Yeah, I'm not worried. Jamar Chase a little bit. So it's probably 80% Gibbs, 10% Bijan, 10% Jamar Chase. I believe this might be ridiculous, and I'm tipping my hand for something that's going to come up on Friday's Fantasy Football World, which you can also hear Saturday right here on KFAN.
Ooh, it's a tease.
I believe Jahmyr Gibbs is sitting on a monster season, the likes of which you have to go to Christian McCaffrey, 2019. LaDainian Tomlinson, 2006.
You're invoking LaDainian.
I know. I'm setting myself up for preposterous statement tournament material right here. But it all comes together with Gibbs because David Montgomery is gone. The offensive line has been rebuilt. We know that the head coach will run up the score whenever he can and has no consideration for using a player constantly over and over and over again, despite injury risk and everything else.
How many total touchdowns are we talking here?
20.
Ooh. Whoa!
20 touchdowns and over 2,000 total yards for Jahmyr Gibbs. Absolutely in play.
Okay.
Easiest schedule in the NFL by a mile.
Right. Fourth place schedule.
They will play indoor games.
Now we got a new center.
Of the last 12.
We have a different center.
And a much better center.
We have no Taylor Decker.
No Taylor Decker.
Penei Sewell goes there.
Penei Sewell goes there.
Which means we got a new right tackle.
We do, but he's a first-round right tackle.
Mm-hmm. That's
this,
a good point.
Look, this is going to be a high, and the defense is going to be bad. It is already hurt. The secondary's already hurt. This is going to be an explosive, even by the standards of the Lions, explosive offense. I'm piling up all Lions, but if I've got that first pick, it's Jahmyr Gibbs by a distance.
Hang on, Charch. Last year, Gibbs had 18 TDs and nearly 1,900 total yards as it was. You got to set your sights higher.
I know.
2006 LaDainian, if we're going to invoke the man's name, 2,400 yards and 31 touchdowns.
What?
Yeah, that was what LT did that in 2006.
How many?
2,431 TDs.
And he threw one that year, too.
He may have thrown one.
Okay, I can't quite go to that LT level yet, but look, this thing could be just
It's
gigantic.
August 6th. People will forget it.
Yep.
Who is the, when we return for the final segment, courtesy of Owl Roofing and owlroofing.com, who is the steamiest, hottest player in fantasy football? Paul Charchian has identified said skill guy, and we'll share who it is next.
Noon, live on iHeartRadio and KFAN, The Fan.
Our iHeartRadio music.
Hey guys, Denny from Elk River here. Charch, so happy you're bringing back FFW. I took last place in my league last year.
Hey.
So, today things are looking up for me. Hey, Nordo, what did Justin Jefferson say when he heard Charch was bringing back Fantasy Football World?
There we go, Paul! There we go, Paul!
That's
there we
fantastic.
go, Paul!
Yeah, I told Just because I knew this was coming. So I told Justin after practice yesterday about Fantasy Football World, and he said, and then I said, most people are taking you middle of the second round. Charch has you as the top 10 guy. So he has all your albums. The hottest player in fantasy football, the steamiest, according to those in the know, is Chicago wide receiver Luther Burden.
Yes.
I happen to agree with that take. Do you?
I do. It's multifaceted, but this is the player that like every year there's this hot player that everybody wants to get that just gets more and more expensive over the course of the summer. Luther Burden checking in right now, wide receiver number 30, but moving up. Now he did very little his rookie year.
Is DJ Moore ahead of him?
No.
Okay.
DJ Moore is, yes, DJ Moore is ahead of him. Yep.
Because he plays with Josh Allen?
Yeah, because he's got Josh Allen as quarterback. Yes.
Yeah, but Luther Burden beat him last year, didn't he? No. On the same team?
No.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Okay. So Burden came on late last year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Burden did very little for a long time, and he had some injuries and other things.
Got it.
But all the talk right now is how Luther Burden, who's built a little bit like Deebo Samuel, he's got that, that lower center of gravity, super strong. Percy Harvin, another comparable.
Yep.
They're going to run him in the slot in a Ben Johnson offense, just like Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Wow.
He could be freaky good. What hurts Luther Burden a little bit, and it's different for DJ Moore now in Buffalo, Colston Loveland looks like he's really, really good.
Yeah.
And Roma Dunze is really good.
Yep.
And so there's just going to be DeAndre Swift can catch. There's just going to be some games where Burden just doesn't get 10 targets, but we love the idea of him going to the slot, periodically running outside, and just being Amon-Ra St. Brown in a Ben Johnson offense.
NFC North receivers, and it is the cliched if he stays healthy. I think Christian Watson is sitting on a big fantasy year. Do you?
I like Jaden Reed, actually, but Watson, absolutely. Think of it, no team. The Packers lead the NFL in vacated targets. Romeo Doubs is gone. Dontavian Wicks is gone. That means players who haven't gotten a lot of targets in the past, whether it's Watson or Reed, have to be part of this, have to have big roles in the offense in a way that they never have before. Watson's never cleared 41 receptions in any year. He could be sitting on 81 this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be on the field all the time. Matthew Golden looks like a blown pick for first rounders who do what he did last year, 29 catches, 300 yards, 0 touchdowns. They almost never reverse course.
Right.
Watson has to be a big part of this offense. He's got to be more than just run straight, run fast. And then Reed is going to be super multidimensional, to be in the middle of the field a lot.
Yeah.
He's, another guy that can break tackles, very strong.
Yep.
Those two guys are going to see so much more work than they ever have before. In both cases, if they can stay healthy, which is how you started this whole conversation, they're both sitting on really nice years.
Final segment, 9 to noon each and every weekday, courtesy of Owl Roofing. Who? OwlRoofing.com.
You mentioned one or two good examples while we were talking about Luther Burden, whether it's DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, guys that are on new teams. So I'll admit, I'm always a little bit alligator armed or hesitant to try and project, hey, Kenneth Walker was this for the Seahawks. Now he's going to do X, or trust that type of production could persist in a new environment. What say you about some guys that are on new teams but bring a lot to the fantasy table?
The guy that's on a new team that I'm most excited about is Kenneth Walker, your Super Bowl MVP. Walker is quietly one of the 5 or 6 most talented runners in the NFL, but was always locked in a timeshare with Zach Charbonnet. And so he was always, from a fantasy standpoint, he was always getting watered down by Charbonnet because it was a 60-40 split. And it's really hard to be fantasy reliable when you're giving up 40% of your snaps.
Does Mahomes run in touchdowns?
Well, certainly not after this ACL, right? And he never did much anyway.
Yep.
So Walker and the Chiefs haven't had a goal line power back in, I don't know.
Not Pacheco?
Christian Okoye. Not really Pacheco. Not like Walker. Walker's so much better than Pacheco. It's not even close. I think Walker's sitting on a way heavier usage season than people realize. They assume Andy Reid doesn't like to feature his running backs. Well, Andy Reid just hasn't had that many good running backs since you go back to Kareem Hunt version 1.0.
Right.
Walker is sitting on a very big year. 10 touchdowns, very possible here, as well as the do everything back, and he can catch the do everything back in a Kansas City offense with Patrick Mahomes coming off ACL. This is a great opportunity for Kenneth Walker.
You're not worried about DeMercado being in there and being a timeshare?
I'm really not.
Rookie Emma Johnson?
DeMercado?
No.
Got it.
No, not a lot. Not a lot.
Is David Montgomery going to be your next Dameon Pierce?
He'll be a lot better.
It's a good opportunity.
I love David Montgomery. If you slough the running back position, David Montgomery, round 6, fantastic buy. You're going to get all the rushing touchdowns. Woody Marks is a total non-factor in the power running game. He can catch. He's the best running back on the team. This is an offense that needs to get better running. The offensive line for Houston was awful last year, and it's still not going to be great, but it'll be a little better. David Montgomery, again, another guy for 10 touchdowns, very possible. And I'm drafting David Montgomery. I might do the opposite drafts, right? Let that running back position go for a little bit.
The bevy of reliable high-end tight ends is off the charts in the NFL. I mean, from Ty Warren to Colston Loveland, skeletal remains of Kelsey and or Kittle, Dalton Kincaid when he's healthy. He has potential. What do you think about that?
You're 100% correct. In all of my years of doing this, I've never seen so many good young tight ends as we've got in the league right now. Brock Bowers, Trey McBride.
Oh, Tucker Kraft.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Right, absolutely. Tyler Warren is going to be great this year.
Sam Laporta.
Colson Loveland, we already mentioned. Sam Laporta, absolutely. There are so many good young emerging tight ends. Most years, I'm sitting at this mic telling listeners, go get your great tight end early. Just get it squared away, and then you don't have to be battling over the Hunter Henrys of the world, the Chigakonkwus of the world. Get it squared away. But this year, if your league's got 12 tight ends, tight end 12 is Jake Ferguson, and he's good too.
Pat Freiermuth, though.
Well, yeah, that's Darnell Washington's my guy in Pittsburgh.
So you're confidently 12, 13, 14 deep before there's a cliff.
That's exactly right. And that's why I'm letting tight end go this year.
Right.
Holy cats.
Yeah.
The other positions with the purple here, whether it's an Aaron Jones or, mention our tight ends, how do you project a TJ Hawkinson or Josh, let's not get too crazy with Josh Oliver, but anything unloading the notebook on the purple here?
I want to talk about Claiborne for a minute because I believe next year it is a Mason Claiborne running back tandem, and that he's going to give you Aaron Jones style numbers next year if you are in a dynasty league. So you're going to be able to carry over your whole roster from this year to next year. I think you draft him this year. Aaron Jones probably gets hurt at some point this season. History would suggest he'll walk into some opportunities there this year. But next year, I think I think this is Aaron Jones's final season, probably. And Claiborne's got a future here. I think this kid's really good. Mm-hmm. He's, the electricity, the big plays, the speed. He could be a factor beginning 2027.
My brother.
Big boy's back.
Great to see you back. Can't wait to listen to Fantasy Football World this weekend. And once again, at Paul Charchian via X, if you'd like to learn about the Ballyhoot announcement of Fantasy Football World. Good seeing you, buddy.
Thank you, Paul.
Paul Charchian. It's PA in Charch, Nordo by our side. May God bless you and all of your families. And thank you for listening to FM 100.3 KFAN. Bye-bye.
9 to noon.
Credit rip-offs. Good times. Scratching and stuff.
The game is over.
Good times. Hanging in a jar. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got 'em.
PA and Charch.
Good times.
If it's good news or money, leave a message.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
From the 1-800 Ask Gary Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Heavy traffic heading north on 1